dill dill. Another sound get killed. Duck a dill dill dill. Sign on the will. Duck a dill dill dill. Another sound get killed. Duck a dill dill dill. Sign on the will. Them one tie. Them one tie. To come at them funeral and them no say. I know say. Sound plexis a general. Them one tie. Them one tie. Cha. To come at them funeral and I know say. Them no say. Sound plexis a general. Give me limb by limb. We a go cut them down. Send pretty oxa. Take out them tongue. Give me limb by limb. We a go cut them down. Send pretty oxa. Take out them tongue. When they say we.
What's up? Welcome, everybody. My name is Dennis Sterling, Uncle D, the Blizzard King, and I want to talk to you guys about a very interesting matter. This includes a Texas father who was detained in Russia. All right. Yeah, the same Russia that is at war with Ukraine. He was detained in Russia and given 21 years in a penal colony. Okay. Despite almost having no evidence. Let me say it again, having no evidence, fam. No evidence. Look, this gentleman here, basically, let me kind of summarize it. So this is the article that is from this. The Russian court sentenced a Texas father to 21 years in a penal colony on charges of child abuse Tuesday, despite almost no evidence. And multiple U.S. investigations that resulted in no charges. Basically, what he's saying is this case was fully investigated here in the United States. And Mr. Barnes, David Barnes, who's 66 years old, he was accused of abusing his two sons way back in 2018 and 2014. We're talking about 8 to 10 years ago by his then wife, Russian, somebody type Russian. I can't even say the name, Slivanlaya. Koptiaya. I can't say the name. Koptiaya. Whatever. Police in Houston investigated both allegations back in 2018 and 2014. And at the time, they found no reason to file any charges against the man. Okay. So, time goes on and, it's like, oh my God. His attorney, Mr. Barnes' attorney, Gleb Glinka, told ABC News that she was horrified at the courthouse. There's almost no evidence that the court could base the verdict on. Mind you, the alleged child abuse happened in America, in Texas somewhere, not even over there in that country. But nevertheless, the ex-wife alleged that to have illegally taken, basically, she allegedly took the children to Russia, all right, took them out of the U.S. in the midst of a custody dispute back in 2019. She then alleged child abuse, right? Sounds familiar. And Interpol then declared both sons missing, and the U.S. transferred custody rights to Barnes. So by right, he has custody of his children, though it couldn't be enforced because what? The kids are in Russia. So Mr. Barnes, he decided to go visit Russia, and guess what they did? She alleged child abuse from 10 years ago, and they put him in jail for 21 years in a maximum security penal colony in Russia on child molestation charges originally investigated in the U.S. Now, after being raised by his Russian ex-wife, this decision, it was taken not to pursue any actions here in the United States. Right here in Montgomery County, which is a county outside of Houston, Texas. And the prosecutors charged the wife, Koptieva, with felony interference with child custody and issued a warrant for her arrest. And here's the thing. Of course, he's saying he denied any allegations of child sexual abuse or anything like that. None of that happened, according to him. The investigators look at it's basically just the same old ploy that women use. They allege child abuse. They allege sex abuse because they want emergency custody. They want people to side with them. And of course, nobody's going to send a child back to live with the dad in the custody dispute if there's allegations of these sort of abuses. It's so heinous, and no judge wants to make that mistake. And women do it all the time. Yet on the other hand, this woman decided to up and steal the kids. And guess what? When contacted by ABC News, she said, I was just protecting my kids. Doesn't that sound familiar, fellas? Huh? It sounds familiar. It's the same old 1-2 punch that they do here in the good old US of A. Nevertheless, at this point, Dad is looking at 21 years in a Russian penal colony with these horrible charges, okay? The thing we want to look at, the charges, David was accused of, and mind you, 10 years ago, okay, keep it in mind. So these kids are probably darn near 18 at this point. No evidence, accused of this horrible crime. All of this stemming from an international custody dispute that arose back in 2019, 5 years ago. And, you know, my good, what do you do? So my question now is, fellas, what are his options? Okay, somebody type passport bros in the chat room, and I'm gonna talk to you passport bros in a minute. What are this man's options? What is it that he could possibly do to get himself out of this matter? Well, you know, you're talking to Uncle D, and I'm gonna put my law daddy hat on. And after doing some extensive research on these internet streets, basically he can try to appeal it within the Russian legal system. All right, he can take a immediate legal recourse, and that would involve appealing the verdict within the Russian judicial system. And this could mean challenging the evidence at trial, even though there was no evidence or any legal errors that occurred during the trial. And success in this avenue, it depends on the specifics of Russian law and the ability of his legal representation to navigate effectively. But the question is, I mean, if they convicted him on little to nothing, what is he appealing? You know, it's almost as what she said was sufficient. And that goes into another conversation that we need to have. Basically, you know, you're on her home territory. Next thing he could do is he could seek consular assistance. I don't know how much help that would be, but as a U.S. citizen, Barnes has the right to seek out the American consulate and try to get assistance from the U.S. Embassy in Russia. Consular officers can provide a list of local attorneys and assist in the communication with family members and ensure that he's treated fairly under local laws. However, they can't intervene directly into the legal proceedings of that host country. Okay? So, and then Russia and the United States are not on the best of terms anyway. So, I don't know how much help that's going to be. He could also explore international legal instruments and human rights organizations. They might have another avenue. For instance, if there are grounds to believe that Barnes' rights under international law were violated, his case could potentially be brought before bodies such as the United Nations of Human Rights Committee or the European Court of Human Rights, assuming applicable jurisdictions and exhaustion of local remedies have been had. But what use is that? Russia invaded Ukraine. Do you think they really care about treaties? Probably not, you know? Now, another thing is there could be some direct democratic or diplomatic pressure placed on Russia, while, direct political intervention in legal matters is rare. Raising the profile of his case might prompt diplomatic discussions between U.S. and Russia, and high-level diplomatic efforts can sometimes lead to a resolution in cases deemed to involve wrongful detention or significant miscarriages of justice, especially if the detainee is to be considered used as a political pawn. This guy is not a WNBA basketball player. I don't know if he's going to see the light of day before his life is over. Mind you, he's 66. He's got 21 years in prison, okay? The other thing they could do is they can engage in international non-governmental organizations, human rights organizations. Hopefully they would be able to provide some legal support because of these unjust proceedings, that he has to deal with. And then, of course, there's always that famous, they could negotiate for a prisoner, a prisoner exchange. But since, again, as I said, since he's not a WNBA player and we don't have any more Russian arms dealers around called the Merchant of Death, there may not be any avenue for him to get out of this trouble he's in, and nobody to swap for. But fam, the thing I want to talk to you guys about is this: you brothers who are passport bros. Shout out to the passport bros. I respect the fact that you guys are going overseas looking for women who are better than the ones we have here. But at the end of the day, it's still a woman. And women are going to do the same stuff that they always do. No matter what language they speak, no matter where they are, they're going to use the system to their benefit. So when considering starting a family with someone from another country, it's crucial to be aware of the potential legal and cultural complexities that might arise, especially in matters of custody. Hit you right here. You know, should a relationship face challenges or come to an end, the partner, who is the national of the country where the family resides, often has significant legal advantage in custody disputes. This home court advantage is not merely a matter of physical location, but it reflects the legal system's familiarity and alignment with the citizen's rights. In other words, they're never going to put you before they put their own citizen. On top of that, even if the fight started here in the United States, once she takes those kids to her home country, it's a wrap, bro. You see? Cultural biases, the possibility of preference for keeping children within their native legal and cultural environment. These are all considerations. This situation can become particularly complicated when international laws and treaties such as the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction come into play. These laws are designed to protect against international child abduction by a parent. By navigating them, it can lead to complex outcomes, and it can vary significantly depending on each country. You might get treated differently in the UK than you will in a country like North Korea, where you may not have any rights at all. The thing is, different countries have different legal standards and processes and cultural expectations concerning child custody, divorce, and parental rights. What might be considered a fair and standard procedure in one country could be vastly different in another, potentially leaving the foreign partner, if you're an American going to another country, at a disadvantage in terms of legal representation. You don't speak the language, you don't understand the culture, you don't understand the cultural norms, you're foreign to the legal system, and you're at a disadvantage, and I know you went there for love and you wanted to have a great family, but you might get more than you bargained for. The other thing is, you need to consider the emotional and logistical challenges of international custody disputes. They can include significant travel costs, language barriers, and a strain of lengthy legal battles that can take a toll on both the parents and the children involved. And so for those of you brothers, you passport bros who are considering international relationships and potentially starting a family with a woman from another country, it's wise to seek comprehensive legal advice to understand the implications fully. And being informed about the potential legal landscapes and preparing for the complexities that might arise, that can help navigating these challenges more effectively. And also building a family across international lines is a journey that requires not just love and commitment, but also a clear understanding of the legal and cultural nuances that would inevitably be part of the story. So we'll keep an eye on this, broad. We'll keep an eye on this story. I'll let you know what comes of it. Other than that, this is Uncle D. It's been great talking to you guys again. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you, I want to read the comments too. I want to hear what you guys think, man. But you passport bros, man, be wary. This is Uncle D. I'm out.